All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy your game. Now, in this video, I'm going to specifically focus on either embedding the game within a Google site or using Google Apps script to get an independent URL. So you could just share that URL with students and they could go there, you could post it on Google Classroom, and they could play the game as its own web page or within its own web page. So those are the two I'm going to show in this video. However, if you prefer not to use Google, if you want to see what other options are available, on my website in the deploying the games section, I have a document that has a few alternative options. For example, if you're a school that uses Canvas as your learning management system, there's options for running the game within Canvas. So there's just a few other avenues that you can check out if you don't want to use Google to deploy your game, always ensuring, of course, that whichever resource you use is something that is approved by your district. So if you're going to be deploying your game in a Google site, so let me get out of this. Let me get into edit mode so I can show you on this site. So you'll want to have a Google site ready to go. And then I'm going to go back to my Gemini chat where it gave me the code. And right now I'm in preview mode. I'm in my HTML file. I'm in preview because I wanted to preview the game, make sure it works the way I want it to, and it's good to go. So I'm going to click this code, or excuse me, click this tab that says code. So this has the HTML code that you'll need if you're going to embed the game on a Google site. So I can click share and copy contents. And then I'm going to go over to my Google site where I'm embedding the game. And you have a few options. You can embed it directly onto a page that you already have created, or you can make it its own page, which is my personal preference. But again, whatever works better for you. But if you want to embed it on its own individual page, you'll move your cursor over the plus sign in the Pages tab, and then you're going to go to Full Page Embed, and that's what you'll use if you want to put the game on its own page separate from anything else. If you do want to put it on a page you already have next to something else, maybe some instructions, maybe a study guide, whatever, you would just use the embed code option. You'd go to embed, go to embed code, paste it in there, and that's how you'll embed your game on a page. Similarly, if I go to Pages and I want the game to have its own page on my Google site, I'm going to go to Full Page Embed, name it, and this one is going to be my health decision-making simulation. So I name my page, and then again, I have the option to add the embed code. It's not a URL, it's an embed code, so I'm going to paste it there, hit next. Sometimes it might give you an error message, but give it a minute. Depending on the complexity of the game, it might take a minute to show up, and then you insert it, and now my whole entire page is just dedicated to this game, and so students can just go directly to this game and play it. All right, so let's say that instead of embedding it, really the only downside to embedding it versus using a link is if you're trying to collect formative data from the game. So you want to know what score the students got, or you just want to see who played the game and who didn't, right? So if you are collecting formative assessment data into a spreadsheet, you do not want to embed the game in a Google site, because once you do that, it's not going to be able to communicate with the spreadsheet. So that's just a little tip for you. If you do want to collect that data, don't embed it on a Google site, but you can link it. So the question is, if you can link the game, well, how do you get a link? So that's where we're going to go to script.google.com. So you just open a new tab, go to script.google.com. And again, this is only if you need a link for the game. If you're not collecting formative assessment data, you can embed the game on your website. It's not going to cause any issues. So when you go to script.google.com, you'll click New Project, and it'll look like this. Now, the process for this is the same as if you're using a spreadsheet to embed data. So let me clarify something. If you just want an independent link for your game and you're not collecting any data from your students, you just want a link that you can post on Google Classroom or something, then you'll use apps script by Google, as I just showed you, script.google.com, and you'll go through the process, which I'm about to show you, and get your link and put it wherever you want to put it. However, if you are collecting formative assessment data, you're going to do this same exact process that I haven't shown you yet because I don't want to repeat it twice in the video since it's the same exact thing. If you are going to import data into a spreadsheet, then you're going to have to get to apps script through the spreadsheet itself. That way the two are connected. So hopefully that makes sense. So in this case, for my game, I actually do want to collect data. So I'm definitely going to remove this from my website because I don't want it embedded. I do want to collect data. So I'm actually going to go to a brand new spreadsheet that I just opened up, and I can call it my health, whatever I want to call it, simulation, student data. And I'm going to need the code.gs file as well as the HTML. And the three columns that I'm going to need are timestamp, name, and score. So I'm going to go ahead and add those headings: timestamp, name, score. So that way the code knows where to put the data. It locates those headings, and that's where it puts the data. So I've got my spreadsheet, I've got my headings. So now I'm going to go to extensions, and there's apps script right there. So again, you're only going to do this if you're collecting data. If not, you would just do this in a separate tab, scripts.google.com, but it's the identical process once you're in here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I need this code.gs file. So I'm going to copy the contents. I'm going to go back to this app script that is linked to my spreadsheet. You're going to delete what's in there. Get rid of what's in there, make sure it's completely blank. And then I'm going to paste that code.gs file. So there's all the code that I copied directly from Gemini. And then this gives it instructions on what to do with the game, but the actual code for the experience of the game, that is your HTML file. So what you're going to need to do is in your app script, you're going to click the plus sign to add a file, and it's going to be HTML. And I'm going to call it index lowercase because I've noticed that Gemini has a tendency to, there it is. It needs to match what's here. Whenever code is trying to retrieve information from somewhere else or find something, the name that it's looking for has to match the source. So if I were to capitalize index over here on the left-hand side, it would never find the information. So it has to match. So I've noticed that Gemini tends to write index in lowercase. So I'm going to make sure I write index in lowercase. When I hit enter, it automatically makes it an HTML file. So in my HTML file, I'm going to do exactly what I did with my code.gs. I'm going to delete everything that's in here, make sure it's completely blank. I'm going to go back to Gemini, to my HTML file, to my code. I'm going to click share, copy the contents, go back here, and then I'm going to paste all of this in. All right, so now I have my code.gs file and my HTML file to be able to not only get an independent link for my game, but to also import the data from Student Play into this spreadsheet. So now the two are linked, but we're not done yet. We have to deploy it. So over here next to deploy, I'm going to click this down arrow and choose new deployment. And then with the settings, I'm going to click that cog and I'm going to choose web app because that's what I'm making. So we want web app. That's the option we're going to choose from the cog is web app. And then description. And then who has access. So again, this is up to you. Anyone with a Google account, anyone, depending on what kind of access you need your kids to have. And then I'm going to click deploy. Authorize access. It's because I'm accessing the data from their game. So I have to authorize that. And then this is what I want. I want the web app link. So I'm going to copy this. And so again, remember, if you do want to deploy this game through a Google site, Then you could either embed the link on a page, or you could make it its own page, go here and choose new link and put the link to the game there. So that's one way to deploy the game if you're deploying it through a Google site. Or you just copy this link, put it on Google Classroom, whatever you want to do. And then since we linked it to this spreadsheet, once the kids start playing, once they finish their game, their information will update in this spreadsheet here so you can see who did the game and how they did. So that's how you can deploy your game, either as getting its own link through Google Apps Script or embedding it or linking it on a Google site.